Now, if you grew up in an African home, then you already know there are just certain things you don't even attempt. Not because someone sat you down and explained it clearly, but because over time you just learn where the line is. Things like dreads, durags, earrings, especially as a guy, those things are not exactly seen as harmless choices. And recently I started wearing earrings, not even pierced, just something temporary. But even that alone was enough to make me realize that this wasn't going to be as simple as I thought. I honestly thought it was something small, like one of those things you try and it just blends into everything else. I didn't expect it to carry weight, but I quickly remembered that in an African home, nothing about your appearance is just small. Even the smallest change somehow becomes a conversation, or at least the beginning of one. And once people notice it, it stops being what you did, it starts becoming what it means. As you grow up, no one writes about them, no one explains them properly, but you see them play out in real life. You hear the comments people make about others. You notice the looks, the tone, the way something small can suddenly turn into a serious discussion. And before you even realize it, you've already adjusted yourself. You start moving in a way that avoids attention, avoids questions, and avoids being misunderstood. So by the time you are older, you're not even asking why anymore. You are just staying within what feels safe. In a lot of African households, your appearance doesn't fully belong to you. It reflects your upbringing, your discipline, and in some way, it reflects your family. So when you change something about how you look, especially something noticeable, people don't just see a personal choice. They see a statement, and not always a positive one. That's where the disconnect starts. Because for you, it might just be style or curiosity, but for them, it carries a meaning that already exists in their mind. Frank Ocean says something about creativity.
I don't know if it's about me, but I think just creativity in general, just doing what you want is so important. Doing what you feel is right and what connects with you is important. And I know that might be, cliche, trite, corny, sappy, whatever you want to say. But, one of the coolest things about what I'm experiencing right now, the songs I wrote and what I decided to do, is that it really is me.
So when I decided to try wearing earrings, I already knew deep down that this wasn't something I could just do casually and forget about. And to be clear, I didn't even pierce my ears. In my head, I had already planned everything. I told myself that if I was ever going to fully commit to something like that, it would be much later in life. Like when I'm older, retired, and honestly past the point of caring about people's reactions. But for now, this was just me teasing the waters, seeing what it feels like, and maybe seeing how far I could go without it becoming a whole issue. And the interesting part is, so far, nobody has said anything. And somehow that even makes it worse. Because now it just looks. You walk into a room and you can feel it immediately, like something has shifted. And it's not even the first time I've experienced that. Even when I started wearing a durag, I noticed the same thing. No conversation, no confrontation, just observation. And that silence is very heavy because you start filling in the blanks yourself. You start imagining the questions, the assumptions, the possible disappointments. if none of it has been said yet. So now, every time you step into the house, you're not just existing, you are aware. And the funny thing is, outside of the house, none of this exists. You go out, interact with people, and nobody cares. It doesn't even register. But inside the house, it becomes something else entirely. It starts small, maybe a look, maybe a quiet and if you know, you know. That one it can carry a full paragraph behind it. And eventually, the questions will start coming. When does this start? Why are you doing this? Who influenced you? And you are just standing there thinking, I just like that. I like this style. I like what I'm doing. But that answer doesn't feel like it's enough. And that's when it really clicked for me that this was never about the hearing itself. It's about identity. It's about control. It's about how much of yourself you're allowed to show before it starts to challenge what people expect from you. Because the moment you step slightly outside that expectation, it doesn't always get seen as individuality. Sometimes it just gets seen as something going wrong. But at the same time, I can act like I don't understand where it comes from. One small decision at a time. So yeah, I started wearing earrings. Not permanently, not fully committed, but enough to make me think differently about where I stand and what I'm comfortable with. And maybe one day I'll fully commit to it, or maybe I won't. But for now, this is enough.